Donald Trump is absolutely furious. Attorney General Pam Bondi is faking an illness to avoid speaking at a human trafficking conference that was taking place yesterday. As previously reported, Jeffrey Epstein's long-term lawyer, Roy Black, has suddenly died. You have Donald Trump's DOJ saying they will be meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell today after Congress subpoenaed Ghislaine Maxwell to have her deposition taken. You have Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyer saying they will see how the meeting goes with the Department of Justice to determine how she will proceed in her depositions with the House of Representatives in connection with their subpoena. You've got the Wall Street Journal issuing another explosive exclusive that back in May, Donald Trump was told that he was all over the Epstein files. And that's when Donald Trump came up with the plan to say, oh, it's all a hoax. His name appears all over it. Then we saw what Donald Trump said in July when he was asked, hey, were you ever told that you were in the Epstein files? And Donald Trump says, no, I never heard about that. And by the way, Donald Trump was just absolutely freaking roasted by South Park. Did you see the episode last night where it has that AI Donald Trump where it literally says, I'm Donald Trump, but I have a tiny penis? Did you see that? They skewered him, and it should be noted that South Park is on Paramount, and Paramount was the ones that just got rid of Colbert, and they settled with Donald Trump over the ridiculous 60 Minutes lawsuit. And the South Park guys were not playing around. They did this whole thing of Donald Trump sleeping with the devil and Donald Trump covering up the Epstein files, which is mimicking real life. Let's just go through all of this right now. A lot going on, folks. You have Politico's report. Trump is clearly furious. White House is frustrated by the all-consuming Epstein coverage. You brought it upon yourself. This was your big issue. And then you brought in to lead your FBI and DOJ people who spread all this stuff about Epstein and grifted off of it for years. And meanwhile, Donald Trump, you were the one who had the closest connections with Epstein. From the files that have already been made public, you're all over the flight logs, all over the depositions. Epstein went on your plane. You went on Epstein's plane. You're all over his black book. You said he's a great guy who likes beautiful women on the younger side. You hosted parties where it was just you and Epstein and 30 women or girls of indeterminate age. Mar-a-Lago was used as one of the places where Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell would find their sex trafficking victims, like Virginia Giuffre, who was working as a towel girl underage at Mar-a-Lago. When she was previously homeless, Ghislaine Maxwell brought her to Epstein down the block, because he was right down the block from you in Palm Beach. And then she was sex trafficked by Epstein. A 14-year-old girl testified at Ghislaine Maxwell's sex trafficking trial. She was introduced to you by Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein. In a separate civil case, a 14-year-old girl identified as Jane Doe said that Epstein brought her over to Mar-a-Lago, pointed at the little girl, and looked at Donald Trump and said, you like this one? Do you like this one right here? I mean, there's so much out there already, and now we know from the Wall Street Journal report, Donald, you're all over the files. You were told about it by Bondi and by the FBI in May, and then you wanted to cover it up, and that's why you're saying it is a hoax. And by the way, that letter that the Wall Street Journal also reported that you sent to Epstein for his 50th birthday, right when Epstein was sex trafficking little girls, and you wrote, enigmas never age, as alleged in the Wall Street Journal. Our secrets shall always remain. Remember that? Well, now we're learning that that leather-bound book, which includes the alleged letter that you sent, is in the possession of the Epstein estate, according to the victim's lawyer who sued the Epstein estate. And now that could be subpoenaed as well. Oh, and speaking about subpoenas, don't you love this mountain that is piling on Donald Trump that we're actually seeing accountability? The Democrats pulled an incredible maneuver. I'm going to cover it more here on the MeidasTouch network, where they forced a vote in the House Oversight Subcommittee, where they knew they had the votes of MAGA Republicans there, to issue a subpoena, not just the one previously issued for Ghislaine Maxwell's deposition, and that's why the Department of Justice was rushing to meet with Ghislaine before she has to testify before the House Oversight Committee, but the Democrats forced the MAGA Republicans to take a vote on issuing a subpoena to get the full Epstein files from the Department of Justice, and in an 8-2 vote, the vote won. That means a subpoena right now is being issued to the DOJ to turn over the Epstein files where we know Donald Trump's name is on. Folks, do you see it all coming together right now? Donald Trump does. Here's what he was posting all day yesterday and emailing his supporters. Don't worry, I subscribe to his email list, so you don't have to. His subject line was Obama! Exclamation point. Irrefutable evidence. This is the truth, Ben, from the President of the United States. Obama himself manufactured Russia hoax. Crooked Hillary, Sleepy Joe, numerous others participated in this crime of the century. Irrefutable evidence, a major threat to our country. Read the truth below. Then Donald Trump posts this. How pathetic does it look? This is from Tulsi Gabbard. New evidence has emerged of the most egregious weaponization and politicization of intelligence in American history. Per Donald Trump's directive, I have declassified a House Intelligence Oversight Majority Staff report that exposes how Obama manufactured the January 27th. What are you talking about? By the way, we know in public that Trump supports Putin. By the way, the Senate Intelligence Committee, chaired by Marco Rubio, Donald Trump's Secretary of State, found that Russia interfered or attempted to interfere in the 2016 election. You're also talking about the 2016 election that unfortunately Donald Trump won. Like, what the hell are you even talking about? But look at this graph that they make. Doesn't it remind you of, if you haven't seen it, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where the character Charlie, he like works in the mailroom and he's dyslexic, so he can't read Pennsylvania. So he thinks that there's a massive conspiracy involving Pepe Silva. He's like, Pepe Silva? Who's Pepe Silva? That's Donald Trump trying to hide the Epstein files right now. Oh, by the way, that South Park was just vicious. One of the biggest cultural takedowns of Donald Trump ever. And remember, here was the video of Donald Trump back on July 15th, where he goes, no, Pam Bondi never told me that I was on the list. That never happened. Oh, it did happen in May, Donald. And that's why you're saying it's all a hoax. Remember this one from July 15th? Here, play this clip.
The Attorney General briefed you on the DOJ and FBI review, the findings of that review. The Attorney General briefed you on
what? On
the DOJ and FBI
on what?
review.
On what subject?
Epstein.
Okay.
On Epstein, of the review of the files. Attorney General Pam Bondi.
A very quick briefing.
Did she tell you, what did she tell you about the review? And specifically, did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the file?
No. She's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen. And I would say that, these files were made up by Comey. They were made up by Obama. They were made up by the Biden. We went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it, but she's handled it very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release. Yeah.
Now, our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski, I think puts the meeting between the Department of Justice and Ghislaine Maxwell and Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyer in perfect perspective. Filipkowski goes, I'm going to go way out on a limb and predict 3 things are going to happen after this meeting between the Department of Justice and Ghislaine Maxwell. 1, the Department of Justice will announce Maxwell's completely exonerated Trump. 2, they will lie and announce they made no deals or promises to her. 3, the deal they made with her will happen at the end of Donald Trump's term. I think that Filipkowski is right. By the way, here's the moment where Pam Bondi faked 6 at the human trafficking conference she was supposed to speak at and said her cornea hurt. Her cornea hurt, so she couldn't attend. I'm sure that's right. The cornea hurt. Here, play this clip.
We have some news from the Attorney General's office.
I do. Thank you very much. And thank you all for being here with us today and having me. I do have a note from the Attorney General, from Attorney General Pam Bondi, that I wanted to share, which is the following. I'm sorry to miss all of my CPAC friends today, especially Matt and Mercy Schlapp, Senator Blackburn, and the wonderful team at the Tim Tebow Foundation. Unfortunately, I am recovering from a recently torn cornea, which is preventing me from being with you. I truly wish I was able to join you and support all of the work being done on this critical issue.
Also, take a look at this deposition video that's just been unearthed about Epstein. When Epstein's asked questions about Donald Trump, he invokes his Fifth Amendment rights against self-incrimination. Watch this. Here, play this clip.
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Look, we're not going to be distracted. Donald Trump's like, don't worry, I'm going to find the grand jury testimony. We're going to release that. We don't want the grand jury testimony. First off, you can't release grand jury testimony pursuant to Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure 6E. Criminal grand jury testimony doesn't get released. By the way, that's what a federal judge just said in the Southern District of Florida. We want the files. The files, Donald, that your FBI and DOJ has right now. Redact the victim names. Don't redact your name, and release the files, Donald. 300 gigabytes. The phone intercepts. What was on Epstein's computer? What was on Ghislaine's computer? Redact all the stuff that is, victim stuff. Get rid of that, but then show the rest. Let's see the FBI witness statements. Let's have the audio recordings. Let's release that stuff. So we're not going to be, but we're going to interview Ghislaine Maxwell. We know that's a setup. Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyer already said, I've talked about this before, we're going to wait to see what happens with the Department of Justice, and then we'll determine how we proceed with our deposition before the House of Representatives. Just release the freaking files. All right, now let me show you here the attorney for the victims of Jeffrey Epstein. Here he is, Bradley Edwards, saying that he knows where that leather bound binder that has all of the letters, including Donald Trump's letter, how that can be accessed. Let's show that to you right now. Let's play it.
I want to go to that book because with your familiarity with evidence against Jeffrey Epstein, which you've collected a lot of through the discovery process, what do you know specifically about that book? Do you know that the estate, the relatives of Jeffrey Epstein, in effect through their lawyers, are in possession of that birthday book?
Yes, I know that the executors of the estate are in possession of that book. And I think that after they turn it over, it should probably be set in the Smithsonian as an artifact at this point in time. It's going to go down in history so that the world can see this book, and they'll know who were Jeffrey Epstein's best friends at the time. What letters did his family write to him? What other pictures are in there? Things of that nature. Redact victim names, release the book, and move on. So that's it. Yes, the executors have it.
So you've just identified, not just for the news media, but obviously for House Representatives who are now in a mood to subpoena, and also Todd Blanche and the Trump Justice Department, who suddenly are getting curious about investigating this. You've now told them exactly, according to your knowledge, where the birthday book is, who is in possession of that book. And all the House Representatives would have to do tomorrow is write up a subpoena for that book, and you believe that it would be the lawyers involved would comply with that subpoena?
I know the executors' lawyers. I worked with them for years. They're good people. They're good lawyers. They would comply with the subpoena immediately. It's something that we could solve this problem so quickly if people actually want to solve problems.
Oh, and Donald Trump's getting absolutely skewered in the polls. Even in the Fox poll, Donald Trump's got a negative approval of 54% disapprove in the Fox poll. By the way, that's much higher in some of the other polls. But if you look at areas like immigration, Donald Trump's -3, -9 on foreign policy, -11 on the economy, -26 on tariffs, -26 on inflation, because we ain't getting fooled. Like, we ain't stupid, Donald. Like, that's why this Epstein thing connects everything, right? Oh, yes, Donald, I'm sure you have nothing to hide. Okay, Donald. And it's the same way Donald's like, there's no inflation. I fixed everything. We're in a golden age. Everything is fantastic right now. We just know you're lying because we can observe we live in the world and not in your fake dystopian, Orwellian situation. We know what's up. Oh, and by the way, I want to point this out as well. One of the Washington Post exclusives is that Pete Hegseth's signal messages came exactly from an email classified as secret, which contradicts the Trump administration's claims that there was nothing classified or secret. But we know he was texting war plans on Signal. We saw the messages. We know they're war plans. Like, what are we talking about here, folks? And then did you see Donald Trump's disastrous event that he had at the AI conference where he was like, and it's just so bizarre. The Republicans were like, what a great speech he gave on AI. This was a really good speech on AI. No, it wasn't. What are you talking about? Donald Trump's like, it's so uncool to be woke. Oh, it's so uncool to be woke. Dude, what the hell are you? Stop with this woke crap. Just bring down prices, stop inflation, stop the war in Ukraine and Gaza in 24 hours like you claimed. Act like a grown-up. Oh, woke. Shut up. Play this clip.
Now it's actually very uncool, as somebody told me the other day. It's so uncool to be woke.
And then Donald Trump at his speech, just look at this guy. He's like, oh, and trans athletes, right? Should I talk about that? Look at them lift weights. Dude. Shut up and just do your job. Behave like an adult. Release the Epstein files. Grow the hell up. Here, play this clip.
Now a man who transitioned came up and looked at the bar. How much is it? 212 pounds. Oh, let me try it. Bing, bong. I think he broke the record by 109 pounds. It's going to be a long time. It's going to be a long time before a woman catches that. And these are great athletes and great people, and it's demeaning. And who the hell wants this? We're off of that whole standard, because I just tell you those as examples.
There you have it, folks. Clearly passionate about this right now. Keep fighting. Keep the pressure up. It's working. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. New Midas merch drop. Check out the latest pro-democracy sticker packs, t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, and more. All at store.MeidasTouch.com.